We're here, Jim.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yes.
All right, sounds like you can. Remember to put your computer or microphone on mute so that others can hear me very clearly. We'll get the meeting started here shortly, and we appreciate all of you attending today. And we'll get going here in a few minutes.
Jim, do you have a microphone on?
Apparently he's using the microphone on the camera, not on the lapel.
Yeah, Jim, we were wondering if you have a microphone.
It sounds like he's using the microphone on the camera, not on his lapel.
All right, everybody, I am going to try to talk loud. Our microphone equipment that we're going to use is more remote. Did not get in time. So we're going to try to make do this way. Can you hear me if I'm talking like this? Say on the chat screen if you would. All right, I think we're going to try that. If I tone down on my voice, tell us on the chat and I'll speak up again. As we get closer here to starting, the Titan Trains, Titan Talks, coming here from Boone's Mill, Virginia, here at the Titan Trains manufacturing facility. We appreciate all of your interest and glad that you could join us. Keep in mind and tell others that this talk will be posted on Facebook at some point in the near future. Also, it's being posted on our website for continual viewing anytime you want to see it. Under galleries, and you'll see Titan Talks. It might take us a day or two to upload it, but ultimately it'll get there so others can see it if they couldn't join in. So I think it's time to start the meeting. Everyone ready? All right. My crew is telling me, let's go. I think you all are ready. Glad for you to join us. Today we're going to talk about hydraulics, the power of the pull. The basic, one of the basic really good systems of the Titan Trains locomotive is the hydraulic system. The nature of it is using a hydrostatic hydraulic pump. And here's a cutaway of one of the pumps. It's a pretty simple apparatus, but it is an expensive and good piece of equipment. The concurrent pump that we are using now, we've been using for about 10 years. It's a hydrant gear. The pump will more than adequately pull anything these locomotives can do. We have these pumps running 2 additional slug units. These pumps are also used in large-scale trains, 15-inch gauge and 24-inch gauge commercial operations. The same pump that we're using. So this is a good pump. We chose this years ago over the Eaton pump because of this, that one, it's a good pump. It's also assembled in America, I think, still. And also it's readily available. Other pumps tend to have a long lead time. This one we can get pretty quickly if we don't have one in stock. And I'm talking within days. So always there's a replacement part available in the unlikely case that the pump goes bad or something happens to it. We've had extremely good success with these pumps, so it's not a problem area. Keep in mind, this hydraulic system is really a simple system. It's a pump, and pump flows to one of the motors on the trucks. Then the fluid goes to the other motor and then back to the pump. It's called a closed loop system. So while I pointed out the pump, here's the motor on the truck. Each of our trucks will have one motor and there's chain drive to all the axles. So it's pump, motor, motor, back to pump. And the reverse, the direction of the locomotive, that flow gets reversed. And all of that, and the control of the pump is through the pump arm here, which has a automatic spring return. So in case of failure of the electronics, the pump automatically strokes back to neutral on its own, whether there's power or not. Also, in a manual locomotive situation, it can be set up so that if you let go of a handle, the pump will return to neutral, like a dead man stick. So there's a lot of fail-safe systems built in to things we do. So the spring return gets you back to a safe place. All right. So keep it, like I say, pump, motor, motor, back to pump. We can also put in a parking brake, what we call a parking brake. And that's a series of solenoid valves that will close the flow between the pump and the motors. Usually use 2 solenoid valves when the locomotive has a parking brake feature. The other thing we added to the system is a drift valve. The drift valve is so that you can push the locomotive when it's not under power or when it's stopped or when you want to put it away. You pull the red knob cable, the red knob that's on the end of our locomotives, that opens the ball valve, which allows the fluid to circulate, bypassing the pump, and everything will freewheel. So it's a simple system. And I'll get to drawing you a diagram of that here in a moment. One thing, here's the tank. We have a hydraulic tank. You can check the fluid, and we use hydraulic fluid, AW32, by taking off the cap, and you look down, and you want to see that the tank is minimal of 2/3 to 3/4 full. And just add fluid. And then screw the cap back on, and you can tighten it up. It's easy to use in most of our locomotives, a regular 3/8 hex head bolt to take the cap out. Inside the tank, we have a strainer. This is the strainer where the fluid is sucked from the tank going to the pump that continually replenishes the pump. This is what protects the system from big particles getting in the hydraulic system. We do not have an external hydraulic filter, and there's a reason. We used to use filters also in addition to that. But the filter is really not necessary in a closed loop system that's not operating in a dirty environment. A dirty environment meaning a piston on a backbone, which is going in and out of dirt. That's a dirty environment, and you have to filter the oil. In this case, it's a closed loop system. Things aren't getting dirty. Also, the filter caused problems in certain operational temperatures. On some of our customers who are operating these trains in very cold weather, and I mean below 0, the fluid could be so thick that the filter restricted the flow and blew out the seals on the pump. So the filter can tend to cause more problems in a system like this. We use the strainer, so that all fluid going into the system is strained, and that's been successful now for all of the years that we've been doing this. All right, now I'm going to come over and show you a diagram of what we do and how the system works. To show you a little bit more, keep in mind we have the hydrostatic hydraulic pump. It's called a hydrostatic hydraulic pump. In some cases, it's called a piston pump because you can see the pistons in the pump. Through the pump, of course, it's powered by our gas engine. The pump is going to pump to the motors that go on the trucks, the hydraulic motors. Just this, which is what's powering the wheels. Each truck, again, has one hydraulic motor. So in the simplest of terms, come out of the pump, and we go to a motor. This motor flows to this motor, and then we're going to come back out of this motor and go back to the pump. Very simple. And the arm, which controls the pump in either direction, is what gets you the speed of the locomotive and the forward and reverse directional control. Also, the RPMs of the gas engine will control some of the speed of the pump and of your locomotive, but all of the control is through the pump. So again, it's simple. Closed loop system. Pump, motor, back to pump. Reverse the flow, it goes the other direction. Now, like I said, in some cases we put a parking brake, and that parking brake is a couple of solenoid valves that go on the pump and block the flow of the motors. Keep in mind, the motors might be mostly locked up. It's not meant to be a permanent parking brake. While the motors and the blocked flow of the hydraulics will keep the locomotive from rolling, there can be creep inside the motor where the fluid bypasses inside the motor just a little bit, and it could slowly creep away or roll away a little bit on a steep hill, but it should never just take off. So you do want to scotch your frame, chalk it, if you ever stop on a hill. But this is for when the locomotive is equipped with the parking brake. The drift valve that I described earlier is a simple little valve, little ball valve, that connects in line to each of the hydraulic lines. And so that when the pump is not pumping, the locomotive is dead, and you want to move the locomotive, you pull the red knob, opens the ball valve, and the flow goes from motor to motor, and it just goes in a circle. So it's an open flow, open circuit, and you can push the locomotive to wherever you want, load it or put it away in storage, and then you close the ball valve by pushing in the red knob, and it's back to a somewhat brake situation. So that's the basics of our hydraulics. It's a simple system, yet it's been highly engineered and highly developed and tested out for about 20 years. While we may have used some other components, the basics of the system have remained the same. It's tested, tried and true. So we're about done here, so get ready for questions. You can type in the questions in the chat section, and we're going to try to answer them. Okay. Let's see what we can do on questions. Anyone have a question? See one?
Yeah, just verify the name of the fluid.
The fluid we use hydraulic oil. It's AW32.
At the very beginning, before he started talking, Pete was wondering what are the steps to change and restore the hydraulic fluid and filter?
Okay, all the hydraulic fluid, because it's in a situation that does not get dirty, you rarely have to change the fluid, okay? Maybe change the fluid once every 5 years. Under most operational situations or most obvious, you may never need to change the fluid. But once every 5 years is a good idea. Even the commercially run locomotives, when they're on commercial operations, pulling public day in and day out, then the change of the hydraulic fluid is maybe once a year. do that, not necessarily easy, but you break loose the hydraulic line at the lowest point on the hydraulic motor of the truck and let the fluid drain out. Okay? It's not an easy process. It can be a little messy, but that's what we do. And then connect the line back up. And again, this is the fill area for the hydraulic tank. Put a funnel in and fill it up 3/4 full with fresh hydraulic oil. Again, for most of the hobbyists, you'll never need to change the fluid, even under hot conditions. These locomotives do operate throughout the country and some of the world. They might be operating in extremely hot Arizona or Florida temperatures, and they might be operating in the snow in Canada, which they do. So it's all over the chart as far as the operational conditions that these locomotives run in. Next question.
Ronald Heller just wanted to kind of get some clarity on the forward, neutral, reverse.
Valve on the control panel engine.
Okay. Hi, Ron. The forward, neutral, reverse comes mainly from the pump, where the arm strokes the pump one way or the other. And we do this through a manual control lever or an actuator that pushes the rod back and forth. Now, on some models, we did have a solenoid valve where the pump only stroked in one position, one direction, and the solenoid valve, there was a switch on the control that said forward, neutral, or reverse, and you would switch that switch to go whichever direction. We used that system for a little while because it was also part of a parking brake, but we went back to stroking the pump for forward, neutral, or reverse through the manual control arm or the actuator. Now, one thing on these pumps, the one problem that we have is sometimes they do not neutral themselves real good in one direction. We tend to set it up so that the locomotive will go forward and back to neutral very consistently and have no creep. Sometimes when you go back in reverse and go back to neutral, there might be a little creep. In that case, you move the control knob on the either wireless control or electronic tethered control the other way, just to tickle the pump arm a little bit, and it goes back to neutral. It's not a question of where the pump is being adjusted. It's just the internal characteristics of the pump. You get it good in one direction. Sometimes there's a slight bit of creep in the other. The manual control systems do not have that situation because you're following neutral through the control lever. Next question.
Jeff Party was curious if you've ever thought of adding an emergency kill switch wristband, similar to what would be used on boats.
Well, we considered that, all right? It's not a new thought, but we did, in my experience in running the trains so far, I consider that we do add a kill switch on the control of the locomotive, whether it's on the control box of the manual control locomotive, or it's on the box of the tethered electronic control, and it's even on the wireless control. We have a kill switch in all situations. But as far as and I'm figuring that the engineer is not going to fall off the locomotive. I'm counting on that. And so far we've been pretty lucky in that they haven't. The locomotive just keeps going. But one thing on the wireless control, eventually it'll go out of range and it will stop. That's a pretty long range now, but the kill switch, the kill button is easy to get to on the wireless. So even if you're fumbling, you can get it. And the same on the electronic control, it's pretty easy to get. If we really need to put a wristband kill on it, it's something we can look into. It's just something we haven't needed to do yet.
Andrew is curious if it can hurt the engine to push it without having the drift valve open.
It really won't hurt it much. This system is extremely heavy duty, extremely robust, and unless you're towing it many, many miles, it's not going to be a problem. It will, the wheels will probably slide, so you're sliding the wheels on the rail, probably hurting the wheels a little bit more and the rail or whatever you're pushing on, but in short distances, it's not going to really be a factor. But you're definitely not hurting the system.
JB is curious if you recommend synthetic hydraulic oil.
Not yet. Synthetics are becoming more popular and have been becoming more popular. We will be switching over to synthetic motor oil, and we probably will be switching over to synthetic hydraulic oil. Some of that is because the synthetics are getting easier to get than the older oils. So we're being driven more by availability than need, because the regular oils that we've been using have been performing flawlessly for all these years. Next one, any other questions?
There's a couple more. What weight oil to use in the motor?
In the motor.
Gas motor or the pump?
Can you clarify, Ronald, whether you're looking at the gas motor or the hydraulic pump?
Motor. Wait.
Gas motor.
In the gas motor, we've been using a straight 30-weight motor oil. Now, in very cold situations, you can, if you're operating in Canada or very cold parts of the United States, you can drop that down to a 1030. But on the average, the 30-weight motor oil that we use and put in there and recommend covers most all the bases and for the gas engine, and that lasts a long, long time. The gas engine is definitely not a weak link. It's never used to its capacity on these locomotives. It will last a long, long time.
David Gilliland was kind of reminiscing about questioning you once about slack in the chain.
Okay?
He said that you mentioned that that wasn't really an issue, not something to worry about. You want to reiterate that for everybody?
All right, slack in the chain on the trucks. Unfortunately, we do develop some slack in the chain, on the drive chain in the trucks, especially over time. There's a little bit of wear on the sprockets. That's not a problem as far as operation. It's more of an issue because you look under it and you see the chain looks slack or might be dragging or dropping down some, but it's not an operational problem. Also, the chains have never snagged on anything because the chains are rolling and moving. They're not a snag point. It looks bad, and I agree on that. Unfortunately, there is not a simple solution to put a chain tensioner on the drive chains of the truck. And mainly we're talking about the chains between the axles that can get a little slacking. It's a looks issue, not a function issue. A chain tensioner that could be used that would fit in there and be economical to actually purchase is one that would need a constant replacement at least once a year, if not more. And you have to get up under the train to do it. It's a big issue to do anything with chain maintenance in terms of trying to have a tension. Otherwise, the chains work just fine. They perform flawlessly. You probably can't tell any difference in the operation of driving a locomotive. It's more of an issue of when you're looking at the locomotive and getting down and seeing the chains.
Andrew was curious if you've ever considered an add-on smoke unit to a caboose or to the engine itself.
No, we haven't. That's a detail that's that's left up to the hobbyist as a part of a hobby, fun hobby thing to do for those units. In our development and design and operation, I haven't concerned myself with that, but the more people that might request it or say something would drive us to doing so. I'm just not that familiar with it. I know it's a bigger deal on the model trains, but it's hard to do on this successfully. Generally, we concerned ourselves with the quiet exhaust and exhausting out to the sides and down to the locomotive so that you don't smell it or see it, and it's not a problem. One thing about the whole design of these locomotives, the design was driven by me from being in this hobby starting in 1978. And I built locomotives that I wanted to operate. And from that, we have what we currently do today. But while I might not be familiar with a smoke generator, maybe that's a new thing we need to look at. And more people that say something is what directs us to doing something.
Fred Smith is wondering if you went to a different fuel refill cutoff on the newer engines. His SD40-2 from 2009 may be different.
It could be. Some of the components, while they do the same function throughout the history of our locomotive field, which is about 20 years now. The one exact one that I recommended to you, it may be different than what was put on yours. I think we determined many, many years ago. If you sent me a picture, I could probably direct you a little further on what the difference was. I know we've been using the current fuel cutoff flow inside the gas tank for many, many years. I'm not sure how long. They all perform and do the same thing, so I'm sure we can find one that will work for you if that's the problem. Well, I think we're running into our 30 minutes. Any more questions? Well, I think we've answered all the questions that you put up on the chat line. We certainly appreciate you viewing us and hope that you tell your friends to watch our Titan Talks. This is our second installment of Titan Talks. We will be doing more. We're trying to keep them casual, but trying to get a little professional in them. We do have better microphone equipment coming. It just couldn't get here in time for today. We're held up by a little extension cord to the microphone, a $20 item that couldn't get here in time. So that's how it goes. Otherwise, we think the camera and the settings are working good. We're trying to produce them. We are open to suggestions, and we look forward to you joining us again. Thank you.